So Arjan, UFC fight number 4, doing it here in Canada and everything, just how does your process change from fight to fight? What have you kind of learned after each fight that you kind of apply to the next camp as you move forward in this thing?
We have a process, right? The philosophy is always, get better every day, a little bit better every day, obviously. But before and after fights, we as a team, we get together with the coaches. Hey, what are we doing well? What can we tighten up? And we get to work on it. I split time obviously between San Jose and Vancouver, but I've got great people around me, and it's because of them we're able to continue to grow. And I try to put myself in uncomfortable situations and just grow in every aspect. And I think every fight I've been able to show a new wrinkle, and I'm excited to do that again on May 4th.
Yeah, how do you divide up the camp between San Jose and Vancouver? What parts do you do where?
Yeah, so I essentially, I head down to San Jose even if I don't have a fight. I go down there as much as I can. Different body types, different looks, different coaching, and then back home I trust the group I have there too. So it doesn't matter really where I am. I'm getting what I need. In Vancouver, for camps, I bring guys in as well. In San Jose, obviously they've got 30, 40 guys down there. So both ways work out well. And I did half the camp in San Jose this time for Juan down there, and half up in Vancouver. So
yeah, what kind of heavyweight training partners do you have there? I imagine I don't know how often Daniel or Kane or even like a Justin Willis or anything is in there. What kind of looks were you able to get?
Yeah, down there they got great sparring partner down there was a guy named Chuck. He just won on Bellator. He hit a nice
Chuck Campbell?
Yeah, hit a nice knee on the guy, laid him out.
Yeah.
6'5", similar body type, which is nice. Guy named James Lawson, who's on Dana's show, fought at Titan FC. So these guys had fights coming up too, right? Mm-hmm. So it was good being in there with them. DC popped through. He wasn't as frequent. Obviously now he's got a date recently and an opponent. So after this fight, I'll be looking to go down there because he's in camp and he get rounds with the champ. That's it's always a positive. So. And then up my way, we brought in Jaydeep Singh, K1 kickboxer, fought Gokhan Saki, knocked out Sergey Kaitanov, fought Fedor, all those guys. He's looking to get over to 1, and he moved to Vancouver full on, and he's 6'5". He needs some of that wrestling. Obviously, that's how guys have been beating him. So I give him some of that, and then we got his kickboxing, and then I got some other guys that up in Vancouver for the grappling, and another kickboxing with Chris Van Leuven, Dutch style kickboxing. So it's been good. I got some good bodies, and they're all those guys are 6'5", so we're good.
Yeah, absolutely. So the preparation's there, and I mean, obviously you want to turn into a win here, and coming off the setback that you had, you can now put together a winning streak for the first time in the UFC. Just how important is that in terms of obviously where you want to go with your career and building momentum and all those things?
Yeah, talking about momentum, like obviously I want to, you get on there, you win, and the more you win and how you win is always important, right? I got to get on Mick too. I don't want to go twice a year. I told him I do this year round. Like I'm always training as long as I'm healthy. Let's get going. Let's get more fights. So I'm hoping we're able to do that after this. But essentially, yeah, the more wins you can get, the busier you can be, and all that. It's always a benefit. And I'm young. I'm in the prime of my career. And I'd like to get busy. Maybe those older guys might want to take 2 a year, or if you have a belt around your waist or whatever. But I'm not in that position. I want to get going. I'm excited to do that beyond this fight.
Yeah, and what do you make of the matchup with Juan when they came to you? We just had him in here a few minutes ago. He spoke very highly of you. He called you a pioneer and everything in this part of the game. He said the only thing he doesn't like is that people say you're better at wrestling than him. And as a guy who comes from a wrestling background, that kind of irks him a little bit, which I imagine is understandable as a competitor. Yeah. What do you think about him?
I think you have to respect his size and his power. Those two things he's brought to every fight. So you have to respect that aspect of it. And beyond that, I don't think that's unique to our weight class. Everyone's big. Everyone's got power. I think what I bring to the table is unique. I think my movement, my agility, my cardio, my stamina, my will to compete. Years and years of doing this, my professional approach. In preparation and in my training, and my purpose is greater. For him, the paycheck's big, the partying's, is still, that's what he's about, and going out and his weight balloons up between his fights, and all of that is different. that's not how I operate, and I think that's going to be the biggest difference. If you're able to dedicate yourself daily, you're able to have confidence in when you go compete, and if shit hits the fan. And he hasn't been tested, on the wrestling mat with someone of my caliber or in a fight with someone of my caliber. So I draw confidence from there. And I hear that he doesn't like the comparisons for wrestling and that type of thing. Number one, it's not a wrestling match, so it's a fight. And the second of all, it is what it is. I've got the credentials and I've earned that. So what are you gonna do? Fact of the matter is, he hasn't seen a national tournament. I understand he's a part of a Div 1 program, and he thinks that's a big deal and everything, but he hasn't been to a national tournament. So for him to mention something about the Olympic Games and this and that, he has no right. He can't even scratch that. He doesn't know where that is. So that's where that is.
Yeah, and you watch him fight, his last one, he opens his career, a bunch of quick knockouts early in the fights, and then he gets into the UFC, gets kind of taken to the third round, maybe shows, some more of his flaws, some more of his struggles, still gets the win. But when you look at that, I'm sure you're expecting a more improved version, but do you see things there that you're able to take advantage of?
Yeah, we look at a lot of things. We look at his habits, obviously, right? And we're ready for that. I haven't seen too much of it. For someone as green as him, from his first fight to his fifth fight, there hasn't been too much of a progression. You would see bigger jumps. So I think that's because he's not putting in the work. He's not in the gym as much as he should be, and he's open about that. Like I said, he loves to party and spend some of that money and chase girls and weight balloons up. It's always an issue. So maybe that's all tied together. I don't know, but I can only go off of what I can see. Yes, for sure, that he went to the third round, he's pushed, he was backed up, he was hit, he hit the other guy, all of that. He gutted it out, so you have to give him that as well. So I know he's not gonna just disappear, go away. He's coming in to win, because that's all he's done so far. But I just think I'm able to take him to places and make him question himself like no one else has yet, and that's where I draw confidence from. And to be honest, I'm not going away either. So if we have to go 15, we'll go 15. Whatever it is, I'm ready to go, and I've put myself through a tough camp to make sure that, and I've had the right people to push me in that area.
Yeah, and you mentioned very specific things. He said in his interview about his lifestyle. It seems like, I assume maybe you watch some of his interviews and stuff.
I study everyone.
Yeah, why is that an important part of your process? Is that not just watching tape and stuff, but watching what he's actually saying? Tape,
the coaches watch that, and I do when we first get booked. And for this, Javier Mendez got the call. DC took a look at it. Our coaches took a look at it, and we took the fight. I trust their opinion more than anything. We look at his habits, and then that's it. And then we get to work on ourselves. And beyond that, this other stuff, I study not just the physical and the skills. You have to know the man inside and out. And he's quite open about who he is on the inside. And that's where I draw a lot of confidence from. Because that type of stuff tells you about his approach. That type of stuff tells you about what he is on the inside. Physically, everyone's going to be in shape. At this level, the UFC, it's not an entry-level, regional-level type deal anymore. Everyone's going to be physically in shape. It's mentally, it's spiritually, where are you at? And I think our philosophies differ greatly in our approach. And like you said, he's open about that. And I think that's a big hole. You cannot... This is a way of life for me. I'm beyond that. I have a greater purpose than even myself for success in this. I will not let this opportunity slip. And I think that's disrespectful to approach the game in that manner, because that's what you're going to do. I have checked every box I can. I've prepared the best I can. Now it's up to me to go and execute. And I think we're ready to go.
Absolutely, and I'm curious to know, you've been in the UFC a little bit now, have a few fights under your belt, and I know coming in, a lot of it was about being the first Indian fighter and all that kind of stuff, and being a torchbearer. Your opponent calls you a trailblazer, all that kind of stuff. What's the evolution been since you got to the UFC to this point? Have you noticed progress in that country? Maybe, I don't know if you've heard anything behind the scenes about maybe the UFC finally going there, anything like that. What's the changes been since you got in?
Yeah, for the UFC going there and stuff, I was just bugging Gavin yesterday. I'm like, come on, man, let's get out there. I can't control that. Obviously, the company looks at what they look at to get out there. But, in terms of the marketplace, it's wide open. It's green. There's no other, other promotions are in China. Other promotions are in Japan. But India's ready to go. There's another promotion that's got an office in India now too. I'm not going to name names. So there are people looking at it. And Gavin told me it's a priority for us. over 1 billion people, strong wrestling culture, strong boxing culture, Olympic medals in both. And they like their combat sport, and they like the WWE. It's the biggest market for WWE internationally. So they like combat. They like, people getting in there. And aside from cricket, there's nothing else you're really competing with. English-speaking country. What else can you ask for? It's all there. It's ripe for the picking. And I have a natural story, a natural connection. So I'd love to lead the company out there. The day they go out there, I'll be very excited. I know they're coming to Vancouver very soon, so that's the next best thing. Obviously, as a kid growing up in Vancouver, you always dreamed of going down the street in the arena and everyone coming to see you. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But after that, that's why I got into the sport. It's a huge market, and I want to be the guy to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Vancouver. Just obviously don't want to look past this, but how much would it mean to you to be on that card? And obviously, I imagine you're kind of mentally preparing to hopefully make that turnaround.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to, obviously we got a task at hand, but you create your life, and that type of stuff excites me. It motivates me. I want to win this. I don't want to go there. I want to win there. You kind of map out where you want your life to lead. So Vancouver would be huge. Growing up down the street, going to the arena, watching some of those games. Dad was telling me, you want to be so, you want to be so successful. People come pay to see you, and that's going to be one of those things that I could say I've another childhood kind of dream that you're able to live out. So I look forward to that. Obviously, taking care of business May 4th, but the next one would be that if we can make it happen.
Yeah, you mentioned taking care of business. Just last thing, what do you think it looks like on Saturday? You kind of mentioned, maybe it's a long fight, maybe if something happens early, but when you kind of visualize it, what's the most common visual that comes out?
Well, for us, it's he's hittable, and I feel my striking is better than anyone he's competed against so far, and they hit him. So he's hittable, and he stands right upright. So obviously he feels he can't be taken down. He has said as much. So we feel he's takedownable as well, in both areas. So we're gonna put both to the test, and we'll see when he drowns.